As days grow colder and duller with the change of the weather and December quickly progressing along, we grow ever closer to the most wonderful time of the year, Christmas. But the time of the year that I look most forward to is Smismass, TF2's yearly Christmas holiday update. A lot of the time they introduce new festives or just new weapons all around, as was the case with 2014's Quickie Bomb Launcher, Iron Bomber, and Panic Attack. Now, last year we got festivizers to festivize all of our beloved gunmetal and tough break skins. Now, I love the festivizer. I love it so much, and to date I have already festivized all my favorite ones. My problem comes in where I have a lot on my Smismass Wishlist to Santa, and I want to see some of these come to life. I miss the yearly festives, new ones that don't already exist, which the pistol didn't until last year, so points for that at least. I don't think they'll skip out on festives again because we haven't had a new contract update this year, so unless they just get lazy, I think it's a safe assumption to say new festives are coming at us pretty quick. This video will cover all 9 classes, and I should be able to get 1 or 2 ideas I'd like to see come out of this update, one of which is kinda my most wanted. And without further ado, this is my Smismass 2016 wishlist. First off, I want something that we don't get a whole lot every year, and maybe make it a new tradition, but festive maps? I mean, think about it, it's kinda like the Halloween maps we get every year, but instead of Halloween, holiday maps, reskins of the stock maps, you know? I mean, wishful thinking isn't always great thinking, but who can blame me? Into the festives! So, for Scout, I got 3 ideas that I'd like to see maybe together. I mean, they do work pretty well together most of the time, maybe not quite as much anymore, but they still can work. My first one is the Babyface's Blaster. For anyone who's watched my pilot for How Bad Could It Be, you may know I am a sucker for the Babyface's Blaster. It has a legacy in my inventory and in the game itself as a once great giant taken down by David and his Stone. The TF team and their computers, I mean. This weapon is still pretty good in my own personal opinion, and I don't believe it's all that bad, and I'd like a lit up festivized version, damn it. I mean, the only thing more infuriating than getting killed by a weapon that is generally accepted by most of the community as a shitty weapon now, is getting killed by a festivized version that just somehow infuriates you even more. Number 2 is the Mad Milk, and this one's kinda self-explanatory. In 2013, we got one of my all-time favorite festives, the Jarrati. I mean, how do you festivize a jar? That's pretty easy, actually. Smack a label and a bow on a differently shaped jar and you're done. Festivize! I'd like to maybe see the Mad Milk, our favorite healing non-milk substance, get a similar treatment. I think it would be a real amazing thing to own and have, and I love the Mad Milk. It really helps me and my team when we need to do a nice push, and it makes dying pretty hard. Number 3 on my list is the Boston Basher. Paired with the Mad Milk and the fast run gun, the Babyface's Blaster, the Boston Basher can really truly help get a lot of quick health off for a speedy escape and a full health bar. And I want to do all of this together in the style of a Christmas menace. I've only got 1 idea for Soldier as of right now that I'd like to see become a reality, and it's one I'd love to see over all other candidates. The Airstrike. I want to see the Airstrike become festive, probably with a sort of snowflake style, given it's used mostly in the air. Of course, I'd love to see the obligatory Christmas lights too, but I'd also love to see it covered in snow, maybe some light snowfall to be exact, as if it had been left outside. That's just food for thought, but I'd love to see this food consumed. Again, for Pyro, I've only got 1 idea, and I think a lot of people would like to see this one, and it's just a pretty popular option and has been pretty much since its release among Pyro mains. That would be the Degreaser. The Degreaser is a pretty good weapon overall, mostly because it switches and holsters much faster than the usual everyday jack-of-all-trades flamethrower. The downside though is an afterburn penalty and an increase in air blast ammo, but it is still pretty great all things considered. The only thing better than lighting up your enemies is lighting them up after you've lit up the tool you're using, with some Christmas lights. Maybe we could see the reindeer shtick again, as done with a backburner, or maybe an elf? I don't know, just a few ideas. I have two ideas for Demoman, mostly because I think they fit together in a sort of pirate theme, and immediately I've probably already given out my candidates, but oh well. Number 1 is the Loose Cannon. The Loose Cannon has remained a constant favorite amongst a lot of Demomains and just regular players like myself. It's just fucking fun to use. There's zero reason why this hasn't already gotten a festive yet. I feel like in a world where the Charge in Charge of all things can get a festive, the Loose Cannon could have gotten one at the very least. I mean, it looks cool, it does cool stuff, and it's a fucking cannon! I mean, holy shit, I need one. Number 2 is the Tide Turner. This is kinda iffy in terms of likability and candidacy for festivity, but I think it fits with the Loose Cannon and a pirate-esque theme, and I feel like lights would look nice on it. Maybe the handles on the shield could be painted like candy canes. I don't know, I don't have many ideas for what it could look like, but I'd like to see it in action. In the terms of our lovable sandwich-eating friend, I also have a few ideas that might entice you, give a thrill to you heavy mains out there. The Brass Beast. I mean, I don't really play heavy a whole lot, but I know that this minigun is one of my favorites in a defense setting, and that a few people would agree with me on that. I think I'd like to see the Brass Beast and its overabundance of pipes and, well, brass become a festive. Maybe the pipes could be colored like candy canes, and maybe the brass could be gingerbread? I don't know, something along those lines. Here's to hoping for the Brass Beast. Now I have two choices for a melee option. I'm just going to explain both of them here because I think they're both pretty popular options. The first one would be the Killing Gloves of Boxing. I mean, the KBG is another one of those weapons I feel could use the Festivus treatment. They are rather popular amongst many heavies, I think, and I frequently see people running them. But, on the other hand, the Fists of Steel are also rather popular, and I don't have many ideas for what they could be decorated as. After all, they are boxing gloves and robot hands, but I guess it doesn't hurt to ponder the potential. Now this is the one that I've been waiting the most to talk about, because this is the one that I know the best. Of all the things I think Engineer needs this Smismass, being an engineer main and all, I have 3 ideas I'd want to see in action, and I hope you can bear with me here while I explain them. One of them, I can guarantee you, is probably gonna make you a little upset. The Rescue Ranger is probably along the lines of the Loose Cannon. It's a given. Out of all the primaries you could festivize, why not the Rescue Ranger? It's a very popular shotgun, being able to move your sentry from virtually anywhere on the map so long as you can see it. I've always had this idea of wrapping the box on the end of the barrel in wrapping paper, maybe painting the barrel with blood to make a candy cane, reference the bone saw, and wrapping some Christmas lights around the whole thing. I feel as though this would make for a very popular fest. Number 2 is going to be the melee slot. I'm just skipping over secondary. I don't really have any ideas for the engineer, just as with the heavy I didn't have any secondary ideas. The first one for the melee slot would be the Jag. The Jag recently hit a spike in popularity because of a fairly recent buff it got, being able to actually build faster. Sure, it's got a sapper damage penalty now, but I like to think I still see it fairly often. I mean, we already got the stock wrench, so I don't see many more candidates to take the Jag's place in popularity, except the Gunslinger. That's right, I said it. I want a festive variant of the Gunslinger more than anything in the world. Well, maybe not more than the Rescue Ranger, but still, I mean, the Gunslinger is just so popular amongst NG mains who see the actual importance of it and how vital it is to the engineer class and how it plays. Either of these would work, but one is more of a candidate than the other. The Gunslinger! I've only got one idea for the medic, sadly, being that he is my second favorite class to play. I wish I had more ideas. But, I mean, that one idea is the Kritzkrieg. I feel like the Kritzkrieg would be a nice candidate. It's got its fair share of usability in man vs. machine, and it's fairly popular among medics needing a really good push and need more of a damage output than invincibility. Hopefully they'll be able to find more creative ways to festivize the Kritzkrieg than its older brother, the Medigan. But I guess we won't find that out until we've seen it in action. Gotta be honest, not a fan of sniper. I don't really play much of sniper or spy, and the time I usually clock in is to mess around. I don't have many ideas for what a sniper would want under the tree, so out of my ass I'm just gonna pull the Machina. This is one that everybody loves, right? Now, I love the Machina concept. I strictly used it for a very long time to help condition my sniper play and become better with aiming via scope. I faulted very heavily in that area. It also provided some training to deal with people besides mindlessly firing my unscoped sniper rifle at them in hopes of an escape. I know not a lot of people like the Machina, but I guess it'd be okay to have as a festive. This idea comes strictly from the fact that I like the concept of the knife, and not so much that it's popular anymore or people like it. Though it is still rather popular, I still see it fairly often. So I hope you at least agree with me a little bit that the eternal reward is pretty fucking sick. I mean, I like the idea of the YER and that I can instantly disguise without any fancy schmancy particles getting in my way or giving me away. You could probably make the blade a candy cane for the 87th time on this fucking list. Christ, I love candy canes. You could wrap the whole thing in lights. I don't know, just a thought.